Okay, let me check my phone, make sure we're all good.
Gail, I don't see me.
Mm, I don't know what you did, but you were fine. You were fine a little while ago.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I was, and
Um,
I don't see it
just what did you? I don't know what you did. Um,
let's see, your, uh,
Marcella, can you see yourself?
Yeah, I can see.
Okay, then we should be fine. We should be.
I
I
don't
don't
see
know what you.
Clarence.
Yeah, because he moved out of his screen.
I don't see
I don't know.
Yorli either.
Yeah,
yeah,
she didn't come.
I don't see
You're
why, I don't see why that happened.
yeah, you were doing fine.
Yeah, I thought I was, but, but apparently I'm not.
Clarence, it look like your phone is facing the ceiling.
Yeah, you have to switch
Come,
it.
bring it down. Bring it down.
Switch. There
Yeah.
you go.
Oh, okay. I
All
see.
right.
Oh, okay,
All
I
right,
still,
everybody.
yeah, I still have to use my phone. I was thinking I didn't
Oh,
have to use it.
okay. So you, all right, then I can take down that other because it's just in the way. Okay, I'll remove that
Right.
one. All right, here you go. Now you're good. All right, so we'll wait for you early because I guess she's still getting some things situated. And we're gonna go ahead and get started. What's up, y'all? How y'all doing today?
Hi, how are
Great.
you? I'm here.
I'm
Hey,
good.
okay, we're gonna go ahead and get started, everybody. Welcome to Shy Panther and Friends Show. Today is September 17th, Thursday, and the time is now 7:37 p.m. Central Standard Time. And tonight we have a really great show for you. We have Yorli and Yorli Huff, and she's the writer and the publisher and creator of the comic book character Agent Huff. And there's a wonderful story that goes along behind who this character is, and you will find out everything. Just stick around for the next hour, and please go ahead and share the page and join the conversation. Let us know that you're out there. So happy to have you. And if this is your first time checking out Shy Panther and Friends, you're in for a treat because the main reason that we're here is to provide quality programming, and a couple of our goals is to uplift and to educate. So, and you can reach out to us at shypanthermedia at gmail.com. That's one word, shypanthermedia at gmail.com. And we have a website as shypanthermediagroup.org. Go ahead and go to the website, leave your email, and drop me a line, and you just might get a surprise gift. I'm going to be selecting randomly one of the subscribers to the website, and you never know what you're going to get. So the only way you'll find out is you have to go over here and let me know who you are. All righty, so we're moving right along, and I have a wonderful panel who are here every week helping me to hold down the show. And Marcy, go ahead and introduce yourself. You're on mute, Marcy. We can't hear you. You're on mute, lady. Can you hear? Unmute yourself. Can she hear me?
I
Oh, here
got
you
it.
go. All right.
I got it.
So,
Hey, everyone. Good evening. This is MJ of TaylorBeesBeardOil.com. So if you guys want to check that out, and I'm just glad to be here tonight, and we have a good show for you that Gail lined up, Yorli Huff. I am so excited and trying to contain myself.
all right, and she's also Marcy is also our resident rebel soul. You never know what she's gonna come with. And we also have Clarence Thomas, and don't confuse him with Justice Thomas.
Oh, please don't. No.
Okay.
Hi. Yes, I'm Clarence Thomas, and I'm a retired sergeant of police from Chicago. I'm also a retired deputy director from the city's 911 center, where I oversaw police and fire dispatch operations. And I'm glad to be here with my friends Gail and Marcy. And we'll have to make sure Marcy knows how to operate her mute button. And it's nice to meet you, young lady. I've heard a lot about you.
Hey, all right. So here we're at the moment that we've been waiting for. Yorli Huff, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you all? Thanks for having me.
We're doing great. So, did you want your video off screen the way it is right now, or did you want to be on?
No, I gotta hit it, but I gotta make sure you can see.
Okay. Oh, here you
There
are.
we go.
And I'm like, now wait a minute. Oh, hey, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you all?
Good.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Good.
So, all right. So, first of all, I love your name. How did you come about? Did your parents name you Yorli?
Well, my mom had a fascination with a Paris model, and her name was Phaedrelyn Yorley, so she named me Yorley Phaedrelyn.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay. So, you guys, I'm going to tell you already, she has a wonderful story and a wonderful story behind the characters that she has. So, I'm just going to let her go ahead and tell us what's happening with all of that. So, first of all, how did you get into creating uh, a comic book series? How did you come up with that?
Well, the entire enterprise is based on my true life story. I'm a former undercover drug agent in Chicago, and I was discriminated against. I got evidence against my employer and filed a complaint internally, and in turn, they threatened to kill me. I had to go to the FBI to get my charges approved with EEOC, and after an 11-year legal battle, I won. So my desire was to pitch the story for a movie deal, and I end up writing a script, and the script kind of manifested itself um, into a book. So I honored that, and then I titled that work "The Veil of Victory." So that's my autobiography. And then from there, I took my character and created an animation of her. And then I started creating the series, and now we're into book 5 of the comic book series.
Wow.
Isn't that something?
That's
Okay, so
amazing.
yeah, and there's a whole lot of life that's been lived in between what you said. And I just want to say too that the character, the main character, is Agent Huff,
Yeah,
and who's really you.
yeah.
Okay, okay, and plus you also have added to what you're doing. You have clothing line and other things that go along with the whole. Is it the
Yeah.
whole Agent Huff or Super Huff, superhero
Well,
Huff?
it started off as Superhero Huff, but the name has since changed into Agent Huff. I have an entire brand under the Agent Huff name. So I am a sublimation manufacturer. And with that, I have t-shirts, I have hoodies, I have metal posters. I have created a bath line, a bed line, children's line, an infant's line, and men and women's gear to go with that. I also have prototypes for my action figures. I have fragrances, and working on pitching for movie deals and animations and action films and television series.
That is outstanding. Now, I was just going to share the screen, and I only have just a little bit of what you mentioned. So I'm going to go ahead and share it so people can see.
Okay.
Uh, all right. All right. On the website, it's superherohuff.com. And
Yes.
it has now available new apparel. And we can go into it a little bit so I can show you. the shop. And it's taking its own sweet time because I want to share. Okay, here it is. So here are some of the items that she has available. Some of the shirts uh, and I saw jackets in here. So I mean, just to give people just a little bit of idea of what you have. And this is just touching the surface from what she just said. She has bed and bath items, which I had no idea about. And let's see. And then there are several. There's a comic book series. Um, and I have one of them. I thought I had two. I couldn't find it. But here are a couple of them. Now, here's engendering strength 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, I wanted to ask you a little bit about, is that the publishing company? Is that your publishing company, engendering strength, or?
Yes, that's the name of my corporation, Engendering Strength Inc. And I self-published and created everything you saw, and everything that I have, I own. I manufacture and I publish, I write, I proofread, I do everything, but I have an illustrator for the series.
Wow. I am just amazed. So, how do you find time to do all of these things? That's huge. I mean, just the illustrations alone, and they're beautiful, they're colorful, they're representative of who we are.
Yes,
So,
thank you.
I mean, how do you find the time to do it?
Well, I'm self-employed. I also I'm a real estate investor and I have my own construction company. So I have time to manifest and create in my downtime. And actually, the stories are a little bit of truth from actual drug deals and a lot of fiction. So I kind of get together with my illustrator and we come up with the storylines and come up with the adventures. And then he pencils them and puts them on panels and I approve them, and then he scans them in and then colors them, and then we add the words and then we put the book together.
Okay. Now, I know that I'm like skipping around a little bit because there's so much, and I do want to talk to you about it because I saw you at vendor events. I mean, she goes out of town, people. She does quite a lot. And she is, I'll tell you a little bit. I'm going to type it in too, where you can find her on Twitter, www.twitter.com, or you just go to Twitter and look for Superhero Huff. And on Instagram, the same thing, Superhero Huff. And for her email is superherohuff@gmail.com. And I mean, she's amazing. So
Thank you.
I mean, when I first met you, I was a student at Illinois Media School, and I'm
Yeah.
telling you, people, she came in talking, and I was just like speechless. I was just to hear her story, it just alone, aside from all the other things that she's done, taking something that was so such a difficult thing to have to deal with and turned it into all this positive energy is just amazing. So, all right, panel, I'm gonna be quiet a little bit and let you go ahead and talk to Miss Huff.
Ms. Huff, this is Clarence. The
Okay.
question that the question that I have is, your books, are they written for children? Are they children's books?
Yes, the comic books from are about 6 on up to adults. And the Veil of Victory is dealing with a lot of heavier material. So I would say teenager on up to adult.
Uh-huh. Do you have you actually written a biography or autobiography of your life?
Yes, that's entitled The Veil of Victory.
Okay, and I can get that in the bookstore?
Yes, you can get it online at Amazon.com, or you can reach out for me, or you can go to your local bookstore and request that they get it in.
Okay, I would like to get the book. because I would like to read your story.
Sure.
And the reason is because I'm sorry, that was my son-in-law calling me, so I'll have to call him back later. But I did similar work for Chicago in the organized crime division,
Uh-huh.
and I'd like to read your story.
Oh, no problem.
Okay. Uh, yeah. But right now we're talking about your business, and that sounds really interesting.
Well, thank
The
you.
way, yeah, the way you laid it out. Okay. That's
Well,
all I got right now. I'll probably have some more questions later.
Okay.
well, what I want to ask you, what was the situation that inspired you to do this, or was it the fact that, hey, you know what, I'm gonna turn this from something that could have been detrimental to my life to something that I can profit from, or that I can speak out, not speak out, but kind of, how some people turn bad situations into good things and say, you know what, I'm gonna use this to my advantage. So was that something that just came to you like that, or were you already in this field before you even got on the police force?
No, actually, it was divine intervention, God from the beginning to end. I was just mad as hell because some white man thought he could take my job that I love because I was black and I was a woman. So that was the germination of it, and I really just was so determined death wasn't even going to stop me from winning that case. And then after I won, they didn't start discriminating when I got there, and they certainly didn't stop after they kicked me out. So it was a message to others because I had other uh, black agents and officers on the force, behind the scenes, hiding in hallways, hiding behind doors, giving me the thumbs up, but nobody would stand with me and fight to end the nonsense. And I understood, so it wasn't their battle, and it wasn't for them to lose their pension and lose their livelihood. But I'm just a militant from birth, and I just was not gonna have no damn body thinking they was just gonna take my job, like I said, that I love, that I did well, that I was the top agent in the whole entire unit, and thinking they were gonna get away with it. So truly, it was divine intervention. I really desired after I won. You should know that it took me 7 years to get the trial. It was a 22-day trial. They set my house on fire during the trial. They sat up on breaks and talked about how they were going to make me cry on the stand. They were throwing my coat and my belongings around in the cloakroom, all over the floor. Very immature kind of tactics, and that's just you know minimal compared to what they were trying to do to me while I was still on the force. But I won on appeal, and I wanted to have the world know the facts and the truths, and know that this nigga has earned every letter in that word, and I'm going to be the best one that they ever never met for generations. I am creating legacy. So when these antagonistic, ignorant idiots have great grandchildren running in to see Superhero Huff, they gonna know that that's the nigga that you tried to discriminate against, and you did not win.
Amazing. And
Amazing. Now, now I
thanks.
wanted to ask,
Love it.
when you were on the force, what was the ratio as far as women to men and African American women in on the force at the time?
Well, you see, I came straight off the street and went straight undercover. Nobody has ever done that. So I was on a special, this was under the Clinton administration, and it was the war on drugs, and Sheriff Sheehan, who was the sheriff at the time, obtained a federal grant under his program. And so it was to do drug intervention in the South suburbs, Harvey, Robbins, Phoenix, Dixmoor, that
Mm.
had high levels of corruption. So I was the only Black female on a team of all male whites who were doing drug intervention in all Black towns.
Wow. Wow, that's
Wow.
a lot.
Ms. Huff, can I ask you, was this your case? Was it a federal case or was it local?
No, it's in the 7th district, federal.
Oh, okay. It was in the seventh. It was in the northern district.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Wow.
What year was that? What years were you operating undercover?
97 to 2007.
Wow.
You were out there that long?
It was like 5 years. So the we settled the case in 2008. So I didn't get to file the case till 97. It was from 92 to 97 I was on the force. In 97, I filed the case. So that's when we started, but we didn't settle till 2008.
Wow.
Yeah.
It took me 11 years.
I mean, yeah, it took you a long time. Yeah.
That's a fight right there. That is
Right.
a fight right
Yeah.
there. Congratulations to you. I'm glad to see that.
Thank
That's why I got a smile on my face. I'm
Exactly.
glad to
Congratulations.
because
And
number
that-
one, the way I looked at it, you said you came from the street to that unit. To me, that's a token. They killed two birds with one stone. You're a woman,
Yes.
and you're female, and you're Black.
Yes.
So of course, because that's for them to put her with all these other white males. Number one, they didn't want a woman there. Number two, they weren't gonna subject no white female to it. So we're gonna kill two birds with one stone because that's federal money. So here's a female and she's Black.
Yes.
So
So you understand that the drug unit is like the country club. Every
Right.
officer wants to go there. So there were
absolutely.
white females and white males and Hispanic females and Hispanic males, but very little Blacks.
Yeah.
And at one point, the director of the unit said that Blacks don't have the ability to buy drugs. The deputy director said that amongst many things.
Well, if they don't have the ability to buy them, why are they getting locked up? That's like an oxymoron.
Well,
That's an
you were
interesting-
talking about somebody's mentality who just graduated with a high school diploma, who,
Absolutely. And probably with a 1.2 grade point average. So I understand.
so you have to understand the source. You have to consider the source.
Absolutely. I always do.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. And what's probably most intimidating is that you were extremely capable and they could not understand that. They did not know what to do with a Black female who was more extremely capable, very intelligent, and can outdo the job, run rings around them. So it's like, well, we can't have this. We can't have her here.
No, and that's exactly what they thought. I grew up in K-Town on the west side, so they figured I was a nigga from the hood and wondered why I didn't have a trail of children with a bunch of baby daddies and didn't want to give me any proper support or accolades or training or anything. It was a fight from the beginning, but they just had no clue of who they were dealing with.
Wow. It's amazing. So who was the person that you reported to? How were you able to even get assigned?
Well, I was a secretary, and CPD was hiring and the county sheriff was hiring. So I ended up testing with both, and I ended up back then they were dismissing, CPD was dismissing the well-qualified Black applicants on the psychological. So there was a lawsuit involving that. And then I just pursued on with the sheriff's department. And the last point of that interview was meeting with the deputy director. So I met with him on a Friday, and I told him my plan, that I was going to be a deputy sheriff and I wasn't going to stay there long. I was going to go to the sheriff police and I wanted to be a federal agent. And so he called me at home that next day, that Saturday, and he says, you know, the sheriff just got this funding and this new unit I want you to try out for. He said, I'll hold your job at the jail. Don't worry about it. It's some more testing, some more interviews, but I'll be there. I'll just call you and tell you where to meet me at or where to come. And so I continued on and successfully completed all of that. And once I did that, then we went to the Sheriff's Police Academy. And then from the Sheriff's Police Academy, they selected who they wanted to be overt and who they wanted to be undercover. And so that's how that played out.
Wow.
Wow. Amazing.
Let
Yeah.
let me ask, when you were out doing your doing your buys and so forth, did you have a surveillance team?
Yes,
Were they able to adequately surveil you? Did they know where you were at all times?
No, and in fact, they were leaving me on drug deals.
Yeah.
They couldn't get into places that I could just walk into freely or walk around or be a part of. So they would have to be a substantial distance away because they were white and Hispanic. So there was no way that they could get close. But in addition to that, once Internal Affairs did their investigation, they find out that they were leaving me. As soon as I went in, they would leave.
Yeah. Yeah, I know the feeling.
Mhm.
uh,
Well, share with us, Clarence.
well, she's your guest, and we're supposed to be asking her questions. So, um, uh, I, what I would like to know is, as far as your business is concerned, uh, have you gotten any feedback from the sheriff's department about it, or uh, did you interact with DEA or any of the federal agencies?
Yes, I worked all over the state of Illinois at their request. I worked with the Secret Service, the postal inspectors, DEA, the FBI, you name it, I work with them.
Yeah.
And wrote my own settlement when we settled. And the only thing I wrote in there is that I agree to play nice. I use real names in my book and I expose everybody.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I was wondering what kind of pushback you got. I can imagine what you got from Cook County, but I was wondering if the federal agencies did any pushback uh, about your writing and what say so they tried to interject in what you put in the book and what you left out.
No, in fact, it was a federal agent that I called. So they threatened to kill me. They sent another Black officer to me to tell me to take vacation or they were going to kill me. So I just told him, I said, make sure that they know that they got to bring ass to get ass. And additionally, you better make sure that I'm dead, because if it's a post, it's over. So I additionally told him that, you know, God is in control. And he said, your God can't stop no bullet. And I said, you don't know my God. And then I walked off. So right after they sent that death threat to me, I called a guy that I had did some deals with the FBI. because there's one Black lady with EEOC, which is supposed to be an independent federal agency. And she would always tell me, "Oh, your feelings are just hurt. Don't worry about it. Just go back to work. You'll get over it." And she wouldn't take my charges. So I talked to this guy and I said, "I need you." I told him what was going on, and I said, "They just sent a death threat." I said, "I need you to get me to somebody in your racial discrimination unit immediately." So he said, "Okay, let me work on it and I'll call you back." He called me back. I went downtown to the FBI office and met with the guy and told him what was going on, that EEOC wasn't taking my charges. And he said, "I'm going to call her supervisor." So before I left that building, I was in the lobby of that building getting ready to walk out. My phone rang and it was Marita Buford. And she said, "Oh, I'm so sorry, Miss Huff. Your charges have been filed. You don't have to come down here. If anything else happened, you just call me and I'll draw up the charges for you." So I had everything under the sun. If they looked at me the wrong way, I called and told her. They told me I couldn't read my Bible, but they had pornographic material that they were openly reading and had. I called about that. I called about them putting me on desk duty. I called about them physically attacking me and harassing me and saying whatever. As many phone calls as I made, that's how many charges that I had that she printed up for me, emailed to me, and they were lodged.
So you actually brought suit against Cook County, right? The
I
sheriff.
sued the Cook County Sheriff. I sued Sheriff Sheehan in his personal and official capacity. I sued each of the officers. I sued the MEG unit. I sued the state police, and I sued each officer in their individual and personal capacities.
Okay. Yeah, people, I can relate where, what you went through. I understand. And congratulations.
Thank you.
That's what I will say. You survived. Or
Yes,
I'll put it another way, we survived. Maybe I'll get the opportunity to sit down with you and
absolutely. Just let me know when and where.
okay. I'll probably need to. I don't know if our Gail, could you give her my information?
Sure.
She can reach out to me and we can communicate that way because I do want to get her book. I want to read it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I do
Sure.
too. I do too.
Yeah.
I'm getting that book. She's my new Shero now. She's
See, you see what
you
I
know
mean?
me. You know me, Gail.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely.
We all work together. We all work together at one in some capacity. I mean, in the same capacity before. So yeah, and he used to be our boss, but I'm enamored by it. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. It
just
was an experience.
just one foot.
How's business though? How's business going?
It's doing well, you know. COVID had me shut down for a while, and things are. I do a lot of comic book conventions and festivals and pop-ups and things like that. So all of that we have not been able to indulge in or participate in because of the virus. But thanks to great interviews like this and marketing and social media, we're trying to build back up capacity.
Okay.
That's wonderful. I have a question. When you go to these, how difficult was it for you to get into that market as a female and possibly as a black female, as far as comic books are concerned, in that type
Well,
of market? Because they
uh,
don't have many of us in that market, do they?
no, it's a $92 million industry, and that's just the comic books alone. That's not the toys, that's not the merchandise, that's not the movies, that's not the animations, that's just comic books. there is less than 10% of minorities and less than that percent of women. So really, it didn't matter because this was my purpose, and I created the comic book series to reach out to the Black and brown teenagers and the youth. And gratefully enough, um, it it has reached overcome all racial boundaries and age groups. And in fact, it was divine intervention how I got into the comic book. I worked in corporate, and I would catch the train and ride my bike. And this one morning at 5 o'clock in the morning, this white guy, he bought my book, and he said him and his wife read it to each other. And so I was just on one knee waiting for the train to come with my head down, like meditating and praying, like, Lord, why you put me through all of this? You know, you didn't give me all of this just to sit on it and do nothing. When are you gonna release this? I want a movie deal. So the guy says to me, he shows me the red eye. He said, you know, they have comics, right? And I look up at him, and I'm saying to myself, like, what the hell is he talking about? So he shows me the red eye, and the comic book convention had come to town. So he looked at me and he showed me the paper. He said, you should take your book down there and let them make a character, make a comic book of your character. And I looked at him like, I said, do you know what divine intervention you just spoke? And he laughed and walked away. And so my prayer changed. I was like, okay, Lord, if this is what you want me to do, I'm a cartoon girl, but send me who I needed. And everybody came out of the woodwork that I needed. Everybody.
Mhm.
So that I don't need permission for any of that. That was ordained and orchestrated by the most powerful. So there's nothing anybody can do with it but accept it.
Wow. That's amazing. I love it. Love it. Love it. That's amazing.
Okay, so the name of the book again.
The Veil of Victory is the autobiography, and then
Okay,
the comic book series is Superhero Huff, and the rest of the creations will be the adventures of Agent Huff.
okay. Now, in creating the characters, are these people that are they childhood friends, or you mostly made them up, or what? Because just reading a couple out of the one book that I have, they're funny, and it's you guys. If you haven't purchased any of the comic books, please do. They're very very good, and so I love the stories, and I don't want to like talk about it too much because I want folks to actually go and purchase. They're very affordable, so I plan to buy quite a few and just give them out as gifts.
Oh,
So,
good. But the initial set of characters are based on true live people.
It's based on two live people.
True live people. So Agent Huff is me animated. The boss is based on my boss, one of my bosses. The bad guys are based on drug dealers. Um, the other people on her team are based on other agents. So they're real live people.
Right, because that was in your contract. That was in your settlement.
No, the settlement, I wrote the settlement agreement, and I don't have any confidentiality or anything. I just said I agree not to mess with you, and you're gonna agree not to mess with me. Now give me my check.
very straight to the point.
Absolutely.
That's a black woman for you.
Yeah. Ms. Huff,
Give me my money for my stress. That's right.
Ms. Huff, do you do you know, or do you have any feedback in terms of young Black children, girls or boys who have read your who have read your books and we're really excited about the fact that they've got there's a black superhero.
Yes, and they love it. I created the comic books to entice and encourage reading. So if you actually get the books, the way anything in the book, the illustrations, the colors, the vibrant colors, even the feel, the type of paper, I tapped into the sensory. I did deep marketing. So it is motivating. So when you pick the book up, you don't want to put it down. And it's tapping into your sensories that makes you want to keep holding the book and keep reading and read and read and read.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, I got the
Yeah,
name
you're
of the book.
Huh?
Oh,
Gail,
Gail's
your
muted.
mood is muted. Okay.
Gail, is that you?
Her mute button is on. You're mute.
Oh, sorry, guys. I was so excited to share. But anyway, those were some of the comic books from what she's talking about, the vibrant colors and just a few of the offerings that she has. So
Yeah,
so
I'm creating daily, so it's hard to keep up and keep everything on the website. So the best marketing was my outdoor, and when you come to see me in person, because I have all new stuff that you can't get on the website, to motivate people to come out and shop and meet me and
Right.
see a real live superhero. But unfortunately, COVID slowed us down this year, but that's okay.
yeah,
Wow.
COVID shut us down quite a lot.
Do you have a
So
following? A big following?
Yes. Uh-huh. Yes.
Okay. Are they mostly women or young girls?
All races, all ages, men,
Women.
women, just it's unbelievable.
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Wow, that's
yeah, I
amazing.
would imagine so because we have a lot of people who they they love comics. They absolutely love comics and superheroes. They love them all the more. So
Yes.
yeah,
It's $92 million in the comic book world.
that's
92 million.
that's just amazing. So I'm just thinking about all of this stuff happening to you. It's because of no good reason other than hatred. All of this stuff that happened in your career that was hatred and prejudice.
Well, I think more so ignorance. I don't think that they had the ability to understand hatred. And I think it was a culture because I had two Hispanic brothers. One was my supervisor that worked for the county, and his brother worked for the state, but yet they reported directly to each other. And they got on the stand and said, well, we played tic-tac-toe, catch a nigga by his toe when we were little. We didn't think it was anything wrong with it.
Come on.
So I think that you will find that it is um, cultivated. It's something that people are taught and they're brought up with, and that's what they are taught to do to make themselves feel better. Because
Right.
you find that they are very insecure and very. So my first boss there, who was the guy who blocked my transfer, um, he was the guy who told me more black men need to beat their black women to keep them in their place. But he was married to a former stripper and a high school graduate. And he told me that he was going to call internal investigations on me because I had a brand new truck and built a brand new house from the ground up. But that was his insecurity. It had nothing to do with me. And so when you understand that life is chess and it is never checkers, but black people, we specialize in checkers and it never gets you anywhere. And so white people play a psychological game because black people are emotional. And so once they get to find out and they pick and prod and ask you questions to build up the ammunition and the arsenal and they called it at the county the brick. So this was an intangible thing, but when it was your turn, it felt like the brick on your neck. And they just went from one person to the next person to the next person, and all of these Black officers, they tolerated. But when they would come to me and tell me stupid stuff like, we gave you this car because your zip code is in a bad neighborhood. I said, oh, I guess you're going to be paying me in food stamps next, right? So it's just refusal. They did not understand, like, what's wrong with this crazy nigga? We told we gonna kill her. She still come back to work. Yeah, I'm coming to get my check. And we gonna get down. Hey, just best person win. You better make sure you get to the draw. But I'm a marksman shooter, so you better be careful. So it's the psychological things, and they had my white teammates in on it, pushing my chair, trying to trip me, parking on top of my car, so trying to block me in. So they park on top of my car, so I couldn't get in. So I went in the passenger side and climbed over and pissed them off even more because I wasn't crying. I wasn't saying, why are you doing this to me? I said, you got to bring ass to get ass, and I got a lot of it, so you better be ready to bring it. You want to mess with me, you better pack a lunch. And they did not ever experience anything in that direction. They just wasn't expecting it. Oh, I was told that my perception of reality isn't real. And I said, oh, really? Well, when did you get your PhD in psychiatry? So there was nothing they could do with that because I would turn it right back on them. And so it wouldn't do anything but make them madder and piss them off. And the more they did, the more I would flip it on them because I play chess. I don't play checkers.
It's interesting because this is a period of time. This was in the early 90s, right?
Yes.
Yeah. When I did my work, it was in the 70s.
Okay.
And it was quite interesting. The fact that the first 848 drug conspiracy case that was prosecuted in the Northern District, I did the undercover work on that case.
Okay.
And it it resulted, unfortunately, it also resulted in, you're familiar with the Marquette 10?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was the undercover officer on the drug case.
Okay.
So, but I didn't deal with that part of it. It was part of the operation that we were working on, and they got caught up in that part. So when the federal case went down, they went down with it because the drug dealers started making deals. It says, well, hey, we can tell you about the police officers that we're paying off in order to do X, Y, Z.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
That's how it culminated into that. But on more than one occasion, I had some of the same issues that you had, and you can imagine back in the 70s.
Oh yeah.
You were catching it in the 90s, so nothing changes really.
Right. Well, you have to deal with the reality that the initial police departments were the slave catchers, and that's where the police department, the law enforcement, derived from. And so, what we see now because of social media, they never stop killing Black people. They never stop.
No.
We're just able to get real time accountings and get it on tape because of social media now. So it just amazes me when people say, well, we're in the year 2020 and there's still racism. It never went anywhere. It just went underground and morphed. Where did you think it was going? The people, that's a mindset, that's a mentality. And it's passed on to generation because they say, don't you let these niggas out here think that they are better than you. you have to suppress and oppress that nigga to make sure that you get ahead. And
Absolutely.
it's it's really crazy, the thought process and the thinking and just the audacity of individuals and how it has affected our psyche and our energy and just the way we operate and move and think. It's like crazy.
Yeah.
I grew up surrounded, oh, the white man this and the white man that. Well, screw the white man. I'm trying to find out what that white man doing so I can learn to do what he doing.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's the way I just thought about it. And I
Yeah.
tell you, an interesting experience I had. I went to South Africa on book tour, and apartheid was newly supposedly over, and but they still, even to today, they still have these experiences with these white people. So
Oh, I'm sure.
we
Yeah.
went to the mall, and I didn't, I was just standing at the door waiting for my companions, to do their shopping. This white lady comes up to me and she asked me a question, and I said, I don't know, I don't work here. She said, well, why are you standing with such authority? I looked at her like, broad, if you don't get the hell out of my face. But that was just, that was just uh the expectation that you should be of a submissive, low dominance. You shouldn't know who you are. You don't have authority because we own everything, and that's clearly the opposite is the factual truth.
Yeah. Yeah. You find it a lot, as as Gail and Marcy know, when when I took over the fireside of dispatch operations, that's that's when it got interesting
Yeah,
because they never had a black boss,
right.
and that was an issue.
Of course.
And I had to explain to them that, you know, I know everything about administratively what you're supposed to be doing. I says, I don't know operationally yet what you do. I said, and I'll readily admit that. I said, but administratively, I know what you're supposed to do.
Right.
And I will hold you accountable for that.
Exactly.
And they,
That's what you come to work to do. That's it.
right. And I had a couple blowouts with their union rep who wanted to come in and bang on the table. And I had to tell him, if you bang on my table one more time, I'm going to call security and I'm going to have you escorted out of the building.
Absolutely.
And he looked at me like, wow, what's up with this Negro? Yeah, yeah,
Right.
well, you got the right one today. But that, I look forward to having a discussion with you. Uh, Gail, just make sure you give her my information and shoot me a text message or email. Gail, I don't think you have my email, but
Mhm.
shoot me a text message and because I'd like to get your information. I really would like to get this book because I'd like to read it.
Okay.
And then we can have a conversation over the telephone.
No problem.
Okay.
All right.
This has
Okay.
been interesting, very wonderful. And like I said, my new Shero. I'm just
Join the club. She has plenty.
I
Um,
just love amazing stories of how we prevail, and they need to be continuous. They need to be it needs to be many, and you know, I just right now I'm in a fight with on my own block where the city decided they wanted to put a 500 bed homeless shelter about 20 feet away from me. No, about yeah, 4 or 5 houses down the street at Calumet High School. So we're in a fight over here. You know, we got the third largest bungalows in the city, and they're all historical. And you do this. So we had a meeting with the alderman today, who claims he didn't know anything. And not to get off track of the story, but it's almost like we're always in a fight. We're always in a fight. I
Yeah,
guess.
you Black in America.
Yeah,
Waking up every day is a fight. And I,
we're
I
always
don't
in a
understand why
fight.
people don't get that. You're going to
It
fight
should
every day. It's a
it
fight
should
as
have
soon
went
as you
by
wake up.
home just to
Yeah.
I
call
feel
it.
like we gotten to a comfort level that like we got our heads in the sand, and it's like, well, what are you doing? What's on
Right.
your mind? What do you think this is? I mean, I'm not saying that you are keeping your body in a fight, flight, or freeze momentum, but you've got to be geared up mentally and physically, because every day
Hmm.
it is a fight. Uh, because I can't hide my skin. I'm not trying to,
Right.
but
Yeah.
it's about somebody's perception. It's about what they think. So I dress like a bum every day because I want you to treat me like you don't know who I am, but I want you to treat me how you really gonna treat me. I'm not gonna show you all the glitter and glam. I want you to treat me like you would if you thought I didn't have nothing, if you didn't know who I was. So I know who you truly are.
Yeah, absolutely. One question I do have real quick: have you encountered any of these like when you do your shows or anything, or had any feedback, or encountered or come across any of these uh, people that you've dealt with in the past? Any of these aggressors? These have
You
they
mean
have you come in contact with them in any sort of way, or even seen
you
any
talking
of
about
them?
arrestees, former arrestees, or you talking about the
I'm
officers?
talking
Huh?
the officers.
Oh yeah, I seen them. They look like death. Yes, I see him, and I smile lovingly because thank you, thank you so much
Hmm.
for trying to exude your ignorance on me, because you've made a legacy that will never die.
Absolutely.
You've created an enterprise that long after you're gone, people will know who you are and what you did, what you tried to do. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes.
I just appreciate all of them so greatly. I'm so grateful. It was my pleasure to be the opportunity to provide that opportunity.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's why I can't wait for this movie deal to drop, because I got 12 boxes of evidence. And like I said, I use real names, and I don't have no qualms about it. And ain't nothing you could do. You did it, right? That was you. You said that. You did that. Remember?
Wow.
Yeah. I cannot wait.
I
I
can't even.
cannot. Okay, so I won't keep us very much longer. This has been wonderful. And and everybody, if you want to know all the details of Yorli Huff story, all you have to do is go to Amazon and pick up Veil of Victory. The Veil of Victory. The author is Yorli Huff herself, and also go to her website at superherohuff.com, and you can follow her on Twitter. You can follow her on Instagram. Thank you guys so much for coming out with us tonight, supporting the show. We appreciate it so very much. I hope to see you again. And that's it for me. Thank you, and God bless, and take care
Yes.
of yourselves and your neighbor. Last words from everybody.
It was nice meeting you, Yori. Uh, I
Likewise.
look I look forward to our conversation.
Absolutely.
Thank you for coming on. Thank you for telling your story. And like I said, my name is Shero. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Wonderful, wonderful meeting you. I hope we get the chance to sit down and talk with you as well.
Yeah, because we got to take care of your alderman.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Marcy, who's your alderman?
Brookins.
Oh, he's the one turning Calumet High School into a homeless shelter, right?
Well, he said it was an emergency thing that the mayor decided to do, and what they did is they rezoned it for instead of a school, they rezoned it for what do they call it? Special
Residential.
special special use. And see, this is a densely residential area, and we have schools. These people have various backgrounds. Uh, some of them are registered sex offenders. We have a school very close by, and the football team that's from Calumet High School, they named it Renaissance something else, but they still play up here at this field. We have women who jog around the field in the mornings. We have a walking club and everything around here. So everybody is up in arms because nobody notified us, and it was illegal. They were supposed to notify us. They never did. So we're just trying to decide what we can do to. Um, they're saying that they're just going to be there until April, and it's called special use. So now that they
Uh-huh.
know that, we even have some neighbors now who are buying their homes, and the banks won't accept it because they rezoned it for special use and not a school. So that's
So
becoming very
when
popular.
was the meeting for the rezoning? Because they're supposed to have a neighborhood meeting to
They
get
Right.
did.
you to buy into the concept and to
That's the
rezone.
problem. That's the problem. They didn't.
So you guys need to get on the media, put this in the media and the news, because you know
Absolutely.
that the mayor took automatic privilege. So what she's doing, you need to go on the media, get in the media with that. Call
Yeah.
WVON, call Mays Jackson,
Yeah.
and get on the radio and expose it.
Oh yeah. We got some people over here who are on top of it. Absolutely.
Because
And I'm so
he could have got together and with other aldermen and blocked that. But you
right.
know, she took that automatic privilege, but still there should be rules of engagement before they have any of that coming to a community.
Absolutely. They're supposed to, especially of this magnitude. Especially you can, and
And then what
we
happened
have
to the
a,
homeless going to the hotels? She was putting them up in the hotels. What the hell happened to that?
I guess them aldermen told her, no, you're not, because their constituents probably told them, oh, no, you're not. No, you're not.
And y'all need to put pressure on him that he will no longer be the alderman if he lets this happen.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So y'all need to put that out on social media and get on the radio with that and expose them.
Yeah. And that's what we're doing. We have a Zoom meeting on the 26th of September, and hopefully we can get her there
She's
because
not coming.
I've been all on social media. Gail know putting it out there because no way property values will just plummet.
Yep.
They
Sure
already
will.
are. And we pay taxes just like everybody else. And plus, like I said, these are historical bungalows around here. And a lot of people have had these bungalows for over 50 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
And y'all need to be getting on some
they're
shows
not
like
going to
tomorrow.
hang their head. Yeah.
Because
mhm.
trust me, if they did the rezoning already, then they've already had the meetings and they
Oh,
are
yeah.
in progress
They
already.
did
So
rezoning, I believe, on the 9th of September. We had no knowledge. I just found out the beginning of this week.
how did you find out?
It was we have a block club, and it was on the block club news.
How did the block club find out?
One person found out, and they let everybody know. And
How did they
see,
find out?
you had these smaller newspapers who obviously got the information from, they have like these homeless shelter groups, and I forgot the name of it. I wrote everything down because we had a Zoom meeting earlier, and that's how they when they looking for different places in the city, and they needed somewhere because of COVID, they needed to have an emergency shelter put in place because they were getting more and more people on the street who were losing their homes and things. And I'm very sympathetic to that. But when you have a magnitude of all men in a place, you know what I'm saying, at, in a densely populated residential area,
What
we
was
have
the
a
was
we
the high
have
school
a
being repurposed, or the high school still exists?
the high school still exists. They only stopped using the high school this year. But because the high school had everything that met the needs of the homeless, they said we can. Would the Board of Education allow us to do it here? And they said yeah. So they were able to go in. They had women and children there. They took them out and put the women and children over in Bronzeville at another
So y'all
smaller
didn't
city.
protest the women and children?
We didn't know. Nobody knew.
Y'all need to be
We
marching in
found
front of his
out.
office
How we
tomorrow.
found out, the some of the neighbors and the block club president saw them moving beds into the school, because my side is on the back of the school. The other side is 2 blocks over. They saw them moving beds, so they inquired. And that's how she found out. I just found out just what, like I said, the beginning of the week, that they even had women and children living there. But I had no idea that they had already started processing and bringing all of these men in here, and that they, according to the article, they can fit like 542 beds in there, but they're supposed to be out. This was just an emergency, and I understand that, but that still is supposed to be brought to your constituents. Our mayor, our alderman said, like you said, she took the power from the alderman and made this decision herself. That's what he's saying.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm going to
y'all need to
leave
get out
you
there
all.
Father
picketing.
Flager is now involved in it, and he's upset. So something's going to have to
Okay.
be done. But it's only zoned until March or April.
Okay, one quick minute. Clarence, you said you're gonna drop out.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to drop out. But it was a pleasure talking with, well, you two. I talk to y'all all the time, but it was a pleasure talking with Ari, and good luck in your endeavor.
Thank you.
Yes, and like I said, I look forward to having a conversation with you.
Okay, likewise.
All right, bye-bye.
So
Bye.
I'll drop us off of the line, or if you guys want to stay on the line, we can drop off and then continue the conversation a little bit longer. And
Yeah, drop off the line.
all right, okay. Good night, everybody, and I'll give you information coming up soon about who's going to be on the show next. Good night. God bless.
Good night.